the residents, it's about the businesses in Epping Forest, and it's about making sure that we get treated fairly by this government.
And were you heartened by the fact that the judge wouldn't allow an appeal?
The beginning and not just the end.
This is the beginning of a process, and we have to make sure that we win the process, and I want to make sure that the bell doesn't get used in the future.
And you had a message for people in Epping about not to protest. Can you kind of amplify?
Yeah, it's not so much, it's to demonstrate peacefully. This is not the end of the situation. We need to make sure that people stay calm, and if they're going to demonstrate peacefully. The first 2 weeks of this process were absolute hell for the town. You know, we saw the requirement of police on our streets on a regular basis, riot police. It was awful. I don't want to see my town go that way. I love Epping. I was born there. I love the town. It's a great place to be. I don't want to see that sort of demonstration.
And are you concerned that we might now be looking at migrants being accommodated elsewhere in your council area?
Well, obviously this is something that the government needs to address. In Epping Forest, if we're approached, and we will talk, but at the end of the day, they've looked at hotels, and we've got 2 hotels in close proximity in Epping Forest, and the Bell Hotel and the Phoenix are not right for that use.
And what's your message to other councils who might be grappling with this problem?
Well, obviously they need to look at their own planning rules, because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. This is a breach of planning, and that's why we've been given a judgment today. And I would suggest that other councils will look at their own planning rules.
But clearly the Home Office feel that this is something that will have widespread ramifications, that you are a bit of a test case.
Yeah, we may be a bit of a test case. I have to say I've been extremely disappointed in the Home Office from day one. They didn't listen, they didn't consult, they instructed, didn't consult, and therefore that's why they find themselves with this problem today. They need to address the issue at the borders, obviously, and obviously our country's always been a fair country. We've always welcomed legitimate asylum seekers, but this is wrong. What's going on is currently wrong, and the government needs to get a grip.
You're disheartened by the latest last-minute intervention, just as the judge was about to hand down his ruling.
Well, yes, very disappointed by that. But I have to say to you, that's been the Home Office all along through this problem. You know, they've always been late to any discussions. They've never wanted to discuss the problem with us. When we spoke to them the day after the incident occurred in Epping Forest, they didn't really want to address it at all. The only answer the Home Office has got has been, we will continue to use hotels up to the end of this Parliament. That's 4 years away.
Are asylum seekers still welcome?
Well, Epping is a welcoming community. There's a lot to be said about Epping. It's a great place to be in. It's a diverse community, and we always integrate well.
And of course we had that incident of significant violence on that Thursday, but actually since then you've had many people in the community, lots of mothers very concerned about the safety of their own children coming out. Presumably you've been heartened by the way in which protests recently seem to have turned a corner. They are much more peaceful.
Yeah, they have become much more peaceful, and I'm really pleased about that. I've deliberately not gone on to the protest because obviously I'm the leader of Epping Forest District Council. I've taken a balanced approach, and with my brilliant team I've worked with them to try and find a solution to the problem. That's what you should be doing as a leader. That's leadership. The reason I didn't go on the demonstrations or protests, whichever way you want to look at it, was in some cases the people who were attending them. Let's just leave it there. You know, I think in the early parts of the demonstrations there was an awful lot of extremists from both sides of the equation.
Okay, thank you very much, and congratulations.